Hello everyone. Welcome to LernenKurvv. Keep the ball rolling. Today we are going to discuss about the SAP Tables. We have divided this in two parts. In part 1, we will be looking into 1. SAP Tables definition, 2. Types of tables, 3. Tables to check available tables in SAP, 4. Different transactions to access tables, and in part 2, we will explore 1. Value table and check table, 2. ECC and HANA tables, 3. HANA transactions to find tables. SAP Tables is a combination of rows and columns to store the data, similar to an Excel. When a table is created, its columns are named and assigned with data element in SAP. Let's look into SAP screens, how these tables looks like. So as you can see, we have these columns, such as material, plants and status etc. And we have a corresponding rows with data for each columns. The data in SAP will stored in the form of tables which can be retrieved during various day-to-day SAP transactions. This data from the tables will also be used for operation and management reporting for further statistical analysis. There are different types of SAP tables, based on type of data being stored. Such as Master Data Table, for which data can be maintained directly in the production environment by SAP Master Data Transactions, or by table maintenance activities. Transaction Tables, for which data will be updated based on the day-to-day execution of different SAP transactions. Configuration Table, for which data will be maintained as a part of system configuration, and will be transported to production environment through transport requests. All transactions in SAP has one, or more than one table. And these tables will store data at header and item level. Header level data, which is common across all the items, and item level data will contain the material description, maybe counter segments, and other important things which are required for an item which has been procured individually, or as a set. So, let me show you one of the example. Consider one table. This is a sales header table. As you can see, we have a sales document number and other details such as created by, created on, and other details which are relevant to the header. So the link between the header and the item table is sales document number. So let's take only this document number. Let's go to the item table. We have the material entered, date, material group, and all the details related to material. Usually SAP tables which has a letter, K, denotes header table, and letter, P, denotes the item level table. The relationship between these two tables are established via common fields. There are different types of tables. First we have like transparent tables which are widely used. Second one is the pool tables. And third is the cluster tables. Transparent tables. Transparent tables are used to store applications' master data and transactional data. It is a one-to-one relationship with the tables in database, such as SAP Database, SQL, and Oracle. Which means, the name of table, field names, and the number of fields are similar in both DDIC and as database table. In real time, an organization mostly works with transparent tables. On the other hand are the pool of tables which are used for one-to-many relationship with database tables. The system follows binary search while accessing the pool tables. These tables are used to store the internal controlling information. Multiple pool tables are assigned to a table pool in database. Joins are not allowed for such tables. And cluster tables on the other hand are many-to-one relationship with the database tables. The system follows linear search with accessing the cluster tables. Several cluster tables are assigned to a table cluster in the database. You can access cluster tables only via OpenSQL, and only without using joins. Means that you cannot use a query for these tables. Tables to check available tables in SAP. How to identify whether the table is pooled or cluster. So, there is a table name called DDO2L which gives you information whether the table category is transparent, pooled, or cluster. Here you can see A004 as a pooled table, BSEG as a cluster table of SAP using Oracle database. There is another transaction SE11 in which we can more technical details about a particular table in SAP. Different transactions to access the SAP tables. What are the different transactions? What is the difference between them? We will look into these things. We have transactions like SE11, SE16, SE16N, and SM30. Let's understand how these can be different. SE11 is majorly used by technical team to create tables, view technical details of the tables, display the data stored in the tables, and we can see the structure as well, which makes it unique. As in other transaction, we cannot see the structure details. Only in SE11, you can see the structure. SE16 is a transaction, which can be used only to access the data stored in the tables. SE16N is an enjoy transaction which will be used to access the data in the tables, and also used to check the technical details of tables. Layout of this transaction is a bit different from SE16. SM30 is a transaction. You can display and maintain values in the tables. These are mostly check tables. So, when you want to have a maintenance of a tables, and you want to maintain certain entries into the tables apart from customizing path, then this is another way, where you can directly maintain the data in the tables, and this can be done through SM30. Let's see in SAP system how these transactions work. The first transaction SE11. I will take table DDO2L table as an example, which I have explained earlier. You will have three options: display, change, and create. Display is the one which mainly functionals use. Change and create, usually used by technical team. You have a view. View is nothing but a structure. We will take one structure. And these are the radio buttons which will help you to select the type of tables which you want to display or change. Let's see the database table first, which is DDO2L. Once you get in, you will be getting all these details. So these tables have a technical details such as data element, lengths, decimal, and short description everything. Similarly, you have other details like delivery and maintenance. Input check tables. If there are any check tables, we'll be directing even in the search help. You have currency quantity and indexes, which will be used by developers. All these details are here. If you want to see the content of the table, you can just go into these contents. You will get this selection screen. You can just enter the table category if you want. Just select the category that you're looking for. If it is a transparent table, select the transparent table as category and click on Execute. We will get all the data stored in a selected table. If you can see, it has been limited to 200 entries, because number of hits on selection screen was 200. So, this is SE16 where you will get these details. Other than that, if there is any check table. Let me show you one of the check tables. In the input check table, you can see these are the check tables which are being used. Suppose, it is T024 for a EKGRP. Description for EKGRP is a purchasing group. If we want to see the check table, we can just click on the input check. It is T024 check table. Double-click on this T024, then you will get all the details about check table. You can execute this table as well from here, and see what are the different purchase groups available in this table. This is an advantage of this SE11 where most of the technical details, you can directly get it from here. Let's go on to the next transaction, that is SE16. SE16 is a very straightforward transaction. You have to enter only table details. Here we have an option for the initial selection screen, that you can go and add the fields on selection screen as required by you. You can add the screen fields. Then you can execute. Again, we have an option here, where you can see and choose fields which you want to see on the output display. So, if I want to see only some meaningful fields, I can just select whichever fields are required. I can apply, and I can run this. So, this is about SE16 transaction. Let's check SM30 transaction. SM30 transaction is to view and maintain a table. And if you are giving a table T024 directly, then system will give you an error, as we have to use a prefix, v, then, followed by an underscore, then the table number 024. Now click on Display. So, it will display all the contents of the table. If you want to search, then we have an option, Position, where you can key in purchase group number 411 here. So, corresponding to the name you need to enter right value. Then it will show you the correct content. Here we have another option for search. Go to Selection in the header. Click on By Contents option. It will show you all the columns available in the table. If you want to search by any particular column, suppose I want to search through telephone number, I can do that. Here telephone number, I will enter as 331. Click on Choose. It will show you all the purchase groups, which has a phone number 331, and a total of 26 entries are available for this selection. So this is displayed. Similarly, you can come back. You can click on Maintain. In this Maintain, you can maintain the details over here, then save it. This way, you can maintain this table as well. That is, change or create new. We can create new entries by create new or copy from existing, or delete existing. You can use these options. We also have an option of customizing. Once you click on customizing, the system will take you to the SPRO setting. You can mention as continue without specifying a project, or if you know, then you can provide the project name. It will take you to the SPRO screen. Here you can navigate to create purchasing groups, because I have provided over there. If there is no entry provided, then it will still take you to this screen and you can select from here. So this is about as SM30 transaction. Let's get on to the next transaction of value and check table. Before getting into the SAP, we will just see what is there in value and check table. Then we'll come back to SAP again. Value table versus check table. Value table is maintained at a domain level. Whenever you create a domain, you can enter a lot of values. For example, go to domain of credit debit. That is a table name. And field name is shkzg. Here we have only two permissible values, that is, h and s. Whenever you use this domain, the system will only accept these two values. This is sort of master check, so that people should not make an error. System will prompt you to maintain only the values which are available. So this is value table. Value table. You have to remember that there are certain specific and limited set of values which are directly entered into SAP domain. Check tables, on the other hand, will have more values, and a separate table will be created to maintain these values. The function of both tables is same. They will only allow the values which are available in respective domain, or in the check table. Check table. These tables are transportable tables. You can transport from development to quality to production, so that the values of these check tables are in sync across servers. These are possible input values of particular field. For example, plant, sales org, MRP controller, order type, etc. There is one more important difference in value and check table. We'll come to that in later session. Let's go into SAP. Let's go to the same transaction SE11. We will take same table DDO2L, and we will display. We have a delivery and maintenance. Here in delivery maintenance, let's see what are the available values. We have like A, C, L, etc. So, there are many values. But only 7 entries we are going to have in this. How these values are getting populated. If we have to see the technical table, where it is stored, then click F1 on the selected field. You will get a pop-up. Click on Technical Information. So, it's DDO2D. Let's open another session. Go to SE11 transaction. And go to DDO2D. We were looking for a delivery class. Let's search delivery class. It is showing the delivery class here. Here if we click on input check, we don't have any tables here. It is showing that input help with fixed values, which are nothing but the value help. If you click on component and double-click here on domain, you will get a value range tab. Click on value range tab. Value range is the domain where you are entered the values. You can see the same 7 entries here, which we saw in the table. Let me show you that again. These are the values. This is value table. It has a limited number of entries, and it can be directly maintained in the table itself. On the other hand, we have a check table. I have mentioned before how it works. I will show you in SAP. Go to one table. Suppose MARC table. Click on display. Click on input help check. You have many tables. You can see over here. These are the check tables, where you have the values maintained, and which will help you in selecting the values. You have one field here FEVOR. We can see the definition of this field. It is production supervisor. Similarly, you have many fields where you have this input help check tables. Check table is nothing but the possible entries, which will be maintained in a separate table, from which the data will flow, and it is transportable. Whereas, value table is maintained at a domain level. You need a developer to maintain values at domain level, whereas check table more functional in nature. This is the major difference between value table and check table. Let's get on to the next topic, in which we can see ECC tables versus HANA tables. HANA transactions to find tables. Important difference between value and check table. During a transaction, we'll see how it works. HANA majorly uses transparent tables. Pooled and cluster table of ECC is also termed as transparent in HANA, because of the architecture. And coming to HANA transactions to find tables, we have a transaction SE16T, where you will find the tables relevant to the particular function. The important difference, which we're talking about, is value table and check table. During the transaction, you will not find the F4 help option for value table. Instead, you will a drop-down option, as there will be only limited values available for the selection. Whereas, for check table, you will have the possible options, which you can select from F4 option, or by selection, then you can find the possible values. So let's see in SAP system how this works. Coming back to the same table, DD02L to check whether tables are transparent or not. I had given you an example of two tables, A001 and BSEG, in the starting of my session. These were pooled and cluster tables, and Mara, which is a transparent. Let's see in HANA database system. Let's execute. You can see the category of all these tables is transparent. It is neither pooled nor cluster. This is the difference of architecture between HANA database and Oracle database, or SQL, where the pooled and cluster concept has been removed in HANA, but still you cannot use BSEG in the queries. SAP queries like SQVI, where you will use the tables to build small queries which will help you in executing or reporting the transactions. This is the one major difference between HANA database and Oracle. Widely, all the tables are being converted into a transparent table in HANA. Second, we have the transaction. How can we find it? DD02L is still there. But for simplification, again in HANA we have a transaction SE16T. This SE16T transaction, you have a collection, execute function. If you execute on function, you will get search screen. I will enter here purchase. All the transactions related to purchase have been summarized over here. This is one of the best transaction you can have, and easily you can find all the details. Suppose if you consider transaction ME21N, which is create purchase order. You have a program, package application, everything related to this. So, finding a transaction based on a function is very easy when you compare to Oracle. To find tables, you can execute over here, and then you search as purchase. We have all the tables related to this. As you can see, This is one of the very good transaction, where you can have a central access for all the tables and transactions to search. We have other important transactions, such as SE16N or SE16H, which we can access from this transaction itself. It will take you to the SE16N transaction screen. This is like enjoy and central access for the tables and transaction codes, which has been provided for making it simpler. Value table and check table is the last topic which we have mentioned. If you go to a transaction MM03, to search a material you have options. We will have material class, area, material number, description, material type, and so on. You got too many options. You can select whichever is relevant to you. You can just pick those and try to find the relevant materials. I will select plant material by description. I will just enter a plant value 1710. I will select a material. Here let's go to the MRP one. You have a MRP controller over here. You have an option F4 help from we can select entries from check table. Thank you for watching LernenKurvv.